Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's episode, I am joined by Junior from the St. Thomas women's hockey team, Brieja Parent. Brieja, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, and how's everything going?
It's going really good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Obviously, the weather's starting to get nicer as we're approaching summer, so I'm really enjoying just the nice weather, just because I felt like April was sort of a tough month weather-wise to get through.
Yeah, seriously, it was.
Now, how has your off season been like so far? And do you have any plans this summer, whether it's hockey related or not?
It's been pretty good. School's been busy. This week is actually finals week, so just finishing up the semester now. And then I'll move back home, which isn't far from here. And then I'll work. I waitress at a restaurant near my house, and then just like training, skating, going on the lake.
Nice.
That type
What's it
of
like
stuff.
being a waitress? I feel like that's a very tough job, but someone told me you always have to work, everyone once in a life has to work a customer service job.
No, I honestly love it. It's so much fun. It's like it's always going, and I'm very like I like to be on my toes and
Hmm.
moving all the time, so it works out well. And then I
That's
can just
good.
talk to people, and yeah, it's fun.
Now, what is something you want to work on regarding your game for next season, this off season?
I think my like main goal personally is just to like work on my overall health and fitness and like just focus on the little things that maybe I haven't touched on before, and obviously just like keeping everything else in my game, like continuing to improve that every little thing little by little, but mostly just like I've really been focusing on nutrition and sleep and hydration and honestly just like overall health. So,
Yeah. Obviously, if you keep improving that, then just make sure mood and just better overall, not just on the ice, but off the ice as well.
right, right.
I need to improve my sleep schedule. That's not good right now. That's probably the toughest thing for me to improve. I stay up way too late.
Yeah, me too. It's a work in progress, but we're
Yeah.
getting
Well, I sort of want to start off this podcast by talking about the beginning of your hockey career and sort of working all the way up to where you are today. So, from the research that I did on yourself, it says that you're from Forest Lake, Minnesota. So, talk about growing up there and how'd you start playing hockey?
there. I started playing hockey when I think it was like 3. As soon as I could walk, like my dad had me on skates, so it was like hockey right from the start. Um, but growing up in Forest Lake, my dad, he's like my best friend. He always has been. He coached my team all the way to second year of U12s, I think. So that was so much fun. And we had a really good group for my age. We had, I think, like basically the same group every year, besides like the few that were like overlap because it's like 2 years per like level, if you know what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
but it like for the most part, like it was the same core group of girls, which was so fun. And then even into high school, I played high school hockey for 5 years, and that was just like it was so much fun. I love it. I miss it sometimes. I'm like sometimes I wish I could just go play one more high school game, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a decently small town, so like everybody in the hockey community. Obviously, it's small overall, not small, but like everyone knows everybody. And then in Forest Lake, like everybody knows everybody. So that was fun. I loved being a part of it.
Did you have like a favorite player growing up? Who did you like watching growing up? And I'm assuming it's probably someone on the Wild if I had to take a wild guess, but it could be someone else from another team.
Actually, it's not. It's Natalie Darwitz.
Oh, cool.
So she's been my skating coach since I was 6, maybe. And so I always looked up to her. I thought she was literally the coolest person to ever walk the earth. And then when she was coaching at Hamlin, she was still my skating coach. And then once she moved Division 1, it was like against the rules. So she's not anymore. But it's fun to like see her when we play the Gophers. It's
Yeah.
like almost a full circle type
Yeah,
of thing.
that's what I was gonna ask you. What's it like playing against her now as a coach?
Yeah, it's so cool. I think the first time I was like texting my dad and my mom beforehand, and I was like, this is so crazy. Like, she was my idol growing up, and now I'm playing against her team. So, yeah.
Did she ever show you any of her Olympic medals that she won before, or does she like keep them locked up?
Um, I I don't really remember. I
Yeah.
maybe when I was younger. I
Hmm.
think I think so. I don't know. I don't remember, but she would have like camps when I was little, and I would go to all of those. So, yeah.
Well, before college hockey, you played for your high school at Forest Lake. So just talk about your experience there and what you took away from it.
Yeah, oh, like I said, I played 5 years there. Eighth grade, that was scary. I was just like a little eighth grader playing high school hockey. So that was a big jump going from U12s to high school, but I think I don't know, it was a good experience overall. I had a lot of challenges that prepared me for like college hockey and the future, but at the same time, I don't know, yeah, it was so much fun. Good
What
experience overall. I wouldn't change anything.
what's like the best memory from your high school hockey days when you look back on it now?
Probably so in eighth grade and ninth grade, we went to the state tournament, and in eighth grade, I actually scored the goal in the section final in double overtime to send us to state. So that was probably my favorite memory.
Nice.
That's gonna be
What's going through your head when you score that goal, especially as an eighth grader?
I still remember like the exact play, like the exact moment. We were at Fogarty Arena and it was packed, like there it was standing room only, like insane. And we actually had been down 2-0 with like 2 minutes left, I think. And we came back to tie it and then in overtime. But I remember like Ellen Nelson like had the assist, I'm pretty sure. And I just like I can still see like the puck going in like the lower blocker side. Like I just watched it in slow motion and then I was like, oh my God. Like I just scored type of thing. It was so surreal. And then it was a dog pile and I was on the bottom and was like,
Yeah, especially as an eighth grader, like that's probably I don't know how you breathe in that.
no, right. I was just like a little thing like, oh my God, what's happening? Is my life real right now?
Yeah. Well, how did your high school hockey experience sort of help prepare you for college hockey with St. Thomas and Duluth?
Yeah, I think just like having 5 years of experience, I grew so much in those 5 years. I faced a lot of obstacles. I broke my back when I was in ninth grade, like went through so many things, like ups and downs. Like my sophomore year, I didn't have a very good year. And then my senior year, I had like my best year. And it was just like so many of those experiences, I think just prepared me for what was to come. And
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have like I could have really done anything more. I think I was kind of naive. I didn't really know what to expect going into college, but I think it prepared me like the best it could, honestly.
And how do you sort of handle that adversity? Breaking a back, that sounds pretty awful, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, and painful too. How do you
It,
sort of handle that?
yeah, well, it was just like a pars fracture. So it's almost like a stress fracture. It wasn't like I like fell and like snapped my back in half, but um yeah, it was definitely a big learning moment. And because I was in ninth grade, so I was in the recruiting process and like navigating through that. And then it was like schools were like, wait, you broke your back type of thing. And yeah, but I don't know. It all worked out in the end. So it was
Yeah.
good.
All I know is I had a buddy of mine who like broke his like hurt his hemorrhoid or whatever it's or herniated his disc in his back
Oh,
from
yeah.
like a motorcycle accident. And he said it was like the worst pain he's ever felt in his entire life. Like he was like crying so much because of it, because it just hurt that bad.
Yeah. Well, it's just so weird because it's like everything you do
Hmm.
involves back. So like you move your arm, you twist, like you're walking, like it all hurts.
Yeah.
I had this like hard shell cast type of thing that would go around my waist and then I would wear that like 23 hours a day. I think it was like I would take it off to shower and change and that was it.
Yeah.
So then it like kind of just like almost held you together. So it actually healed pretty quickly, but I think it was only like 3-ish months and then like getting back into it.
We'll talk about just the Minnesota high school hockey scene and what's it like being a player in that atmosphere. So I'm from the East Coast, so it's sort of hard to fathom just how big high school hockey is up in Minnesota because I just think people up here really don't get it. So just talk about what's like being a player there because I think it's crazy that you guys can sell out the XL Energy Center for a high school hockey game. Like that's just insane. But just the hype around it, just how it like unites the communities together in Minnesota. Like what's it like being a player in that? Just why is it so big in Minnesota?
Yeah, I mean, I don't guess I don't really know why it's so big in Minnesota, but I'm so thankful that I live here because so like you can't even really put it into words. Like it's so cool. I think it was my 8th grade year when we went to state, we like broke the record for number of fans from a school or something, some statistic like that. And that's like insane that like in high school you can have that many fans. And like even at our home games, like we would have a huge student section. And yeah, it's so cool. I think everybody should be able to experience something like that. And it's like the Minnesota hockey community is so close and small. Like, everybody. Like, I know basically every girl that plays college hockey out of Minnesota, they know each other, which
Yeah.
is so cool to like watch everybody through their college experience and like see how they develop and stuff like that.
Yeah. Is it weird talking to your teammates like who aren't from Minnesota, just like what it's like? Because they probably don't get it like I do.
Sometimes I think a lot of people actually know,
Hmm.
like, East Coast girls and like Canadian girls, like they know Minnesota hockey is a big deal. But even when we tell them stories and stuff, sometimes they're like, "What? Like in high
Yeah.
school?" Or like a lot of times they're like, "You didn't go to a prep school?" It's like, "No, like I just played for my hometown high school." And they're like, "That's
Yeah.
insane. That's so cool."
Yeah. That's probably like the coolest part is you get to do that because I know a lot of places you have to sort of move in order to sort of help your hockey career get better and to grow and all that stuff. So that's cool that you get to sort of stay at home for your hometown, represent your hometown, and play competitive hockey and get noticed by big schools.
Yeah, so cool.
Now, you originally committed to Minnesota Duluth. So just talk about that recruitment process and why did you choose to go there initially?
Yeah, I think Duluth was one of my top schools when I was being recruited, and I loved the city of Duluth. I think honestly, like I loved everything at the moment, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, let's do this," kind of thing. And then obviously, like, I transferred and it just ended up not really being the best fit for me, which is totally fine. And I'm so lucky that I'm now here at St. Thomas. But yeah, I think recruiting, I'm really glad that they moved the rule to a juniors. I think it's junior in high
Yeah.
school, summer before junior year. Is that right?
Yes. I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think so. I'm very thankful for younger girls that they did that, because when I was in 8th grade, I was talking to colleges and I was like, I'm not even in high school yet. I don't even know what college is.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big move for high school and college hockey in general.
Yeah. Like you don't even know like what you want as a 14-year-old, let alone you don't even know what you want as a 17-year-old, let alone like when you're still in middle school. Like you just
Yeah.
it just makes I'm surprised they like recruited people that young.
Yeah. It was crazy. I think I got my first letter in the mail in 8th grade, or
Yeah,
like as soon as they could. I think there was some sort of rule maybe, but it was 8th grade. Yeah. Which
that's
is
crazy.
crazy to think about now, like looking back. I have a little brother. He's in 9th grade now, but even thinking that he would be looking at colleges right now is crazy to think about.
Yeah, because you're just not ready.
Right. Yeah.
Now, as a freshman, what was sort of like the biggest adjustment you had to make to college hockey? Was it the speed of the game, the physicality, or just the decision making since you have such less time and space to do so?
I think kind of like all of the above, just like the speed of the game was so much different. Like you don't have 10 seconds to make a pass, or like 10 seconds to pick a corner and like get the puck in the exact right spot, right? It has to be like it's like as fast as you can go. And especially in the WCHA, like you're playing against the best players and frankly like the world, really. And you do not have as much time and space as you do in high school. So I think it was a big jump, but yeah, I would say just like the overall speed of the game.
Now, you only played in 9 games with Minnesota Duluth, but talk about your experience there and just the Frozen Four appearance that your team made in 2021.
Yeah, the Frozen Four was so cool. Like, granted, it was COVID, so it wasn't really the same, but it was like that's an experience I will take with me forever. And then just like my overall experience at Duluth, I think I just learned so many things. Like, I still talk to so many girls from there. Like, I met some of my best friends. Like, yeah, I think everything that I went through at Duluth and all the experiences that I had from there, like helped me get to where I am at St. Thomas, and like, yeah, help me just help my team out here kind of thing. And
Mhm.
yeah, I just grew a lot, which is really cool. Yeah.
Now talk about the transfer process to St. Thomas during your sophomore year and what made you want to go to there. What made you want to go to St. Thomas, I guess, when you were in that transfer process?
Yeah, the coaches here are honestly some of the best people that I've ever met in my life. Like they literally changed they don't even know how much they changed my life. Like seriously, they like really care about you as a person, and that's something that I value. And I think a lot of people go through like their college experience where their coach like treats them like a number. Like I wasn't number 23 anymore. Like I was Brieja, and that's like so special to me. Like they treated me like they truly care, and it's just not something that you can get everywhere at any college. And I think that's what pulled me here the most. And then obviously it's a really good school, and it had the major I was looking for. I'm a data analytics major and an economic minor, or I have a minor in economics. I said that backwards. But so I think just like the academics, and I really liked the smaller school. Like we walk around campus and you see somebody you know every single time, which I love because I just love talking to people. I'm a people person. So I liked the size of the school. I liked the hockey. I liked that the program was growing, and Joel and Bethany and Marty, that they are very set on like making this a known program and eventually winning a national championship. And I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of that. That's
Mhm.
so cool.
And what's it like sort of playing in the WCHA and just the competition that you face every weekend? Because like you mentioned, it's probably one of the best conferences in women's college hockey based on the players that are there. And if you look at the recent national championships the last few years as well. So just talk about that competition and what it's like being in that conference.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a challenge every single weekend. Like you have to put your best effort every single weekend. You can't take a team lightly ever, especially like I mean, we have the Minnesota, Ohio, Wisconsin in our league. Like they're the best teams in the country, and you play them every weekend. And St. Cloud, Mankato, Bemidji, Duluth, like they're all so good too. Like you have to put your best effort forward every single weekend. You have to be in the best shape, the best like health, everything. But it's also so much fun because you get the best competition every weekend. So
Now,
yeah.
now you got your first collegiate goal against Bemidji State your sophomore year. Talk about that goal and what it meant to you, and where do you keep the puck today?
I think that goal, yeah, I remember it exactly, but it was so many emotions in one. I think I got back to the bench and I just had like tears streaming down my face because I was just like wow, like it's all coming together. Like kind of what you said, like I only played 9 games at Duluth. I hadn't had my first goal yet, and then scoring that goal, and my team, that was the other thing, is like my team was so happy for me. And I was like, I've only known you guys for I don't know, 2 months maybe. I don't know what it was, but it was so crazy. Like the coaches were so happy for me. My family was so happy. I was so proud of myself that I like got to that point. And yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. Just so many emotions in one. And then I keep my puck in my room at home.
Nice, nice. Are you going to get framed or is it already framed?
No, it's just sitting on my desk.
I feel like I don't know. I would personally I would frame it just because I want to keep memorialize it and sort of like hang it up and something to remind me when I get up every day.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I will one day, but it's
Hmm.
just kind of sitting there. Hmm. Whenever I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, great memory. But
Now you also got to play in an outdoor game that season in Hockey Day in Minnesota. Talk about the experience of playing outside at the collegiate level and what that experience was like for you. From my memory, that was a freezing cold game. From what I remember seeing on the social media. So how did you sort of handle that?
that was my first thought, is it was freezing, but it was so cool. We got like dressed it we would get I think we got half dressed, in like a gymnasium type deal in Mankato. I don't know exactly what it was. And then we like tied our skates and stuff in a trailer, like a heated trailer. It felt like almost like pond hockey. Like I was going to play pond hockey, but I was playing like a collegiate game. So
Mhm.
that was really cool. But just the atmosphere of that whole weekend was, I feel so lucky to be able to experience that, because very, very few people can say that they experienced that. And yeah, it was so cool playing outside and like seeing my family in the stands. And I was playing against someone, like I grew up playing against like Jamie Nelson and Sid Langseth and Ellen Nelson. Like she was one of my good friends growing up. So playing against her was so cool too.
Now,
Yeah.
statistically, you had your best season this past year during your junior year. So my question is, what was like the biggest improvement you made to your game this past year that led to the success that you had on the ice?
I think it was honestly mostly like my mental game that I focused on a lot last summer that helped me this year. I just kind of, yeah, just my mental, like overall, like take a breath. Like it's okay to make a mistake. Just play your game, believe in yourself. Like your teammates believe in you, your coaches believe in you, your family believes in you. Like just go play. And I think that really helped in going into next year, even too. Like my mindset is just go play. Like go play the game you love because you know how to do it. And I think that is honestly what helped me the most.
What was like your favorite moment from this past year?
Probably beating Duluth in a shootout.
Yeah,
That was fun. That was really fun.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And is it sort of weird playing your old teammates again when those games happen?
Yeah, I think it was like 6 weeks after I transferred, we played Duluth in Duluth.
Hmm.
So that was last year, obviously, but I was like, oh, this is weird. Like I'm used to being on the other bench, like cheering for the other team, and now I'm over here. Like it was just so many emotions, but it was so much fun, honestly. And it was so good to see all my friends and have the support of my team and my coaches again. Like, I can't even stress enough how supportive they are. And the
Yeah.
culture that we have here is like unbeatable. Like, I tell people, and I'm like, I can't even describe how good it is. Like, I sound like I'm almost lying because it's literally, I just love it. It's so awesome here.
I feel like the weirdest part, honestly, would probably for me at least going to the visiting locker room and doing everything on the opposite side because I'm assuming you're probably so used to doing everything on the home locker room and all that stuff.
Yeah, honestly, it was weird. That's like, I was like, this is like, I usually go this way, but I'm going to go this way and I'm going to warm up on this side of the ice.
Yeah.
It didn't honestly, like, it was weird for the first little bit. And like, I was nervous before the game because I was like, this is just a lot in one thing.
Mhm.
And it's only been 6 weeks, but it really wasn't as bad. Like, it wasn't bad at all. It was actually really fun. And now I look forward to going there. Like, that even this year I was excited to go there and play there, and I look forward to it next season too. So
Yeah, and getting the shootout win on top of that must feel even more special.
yeah, it was so much fun. And that was our first time beating like a top 10 nationally ranked team. So that was a big milestone for St. Thomas in general.
Yeah, it seemed like this past year your team started to make strides. And I know what you mentioned, how your coach, Joel Johnson, is sort of his goal is to build a good culture and to sort of compete for national championships in the future. And I feel like this past season, your team seemed to make strides towards that by playing in competitive games against top teams, but also winning some of them as well.
Yeah. And Joel really focuses on the process, and he knows, like, he treats us all like individuals, like he cares about us, and you can tell like he cares about the program as a whole, and that's, I think, really important too.
Now, you guys lost to Minnesota in the last two WCHA playoff series. What did your team learn from those playoff series that you think is going to help your team out for next season?
Um, Personally, we have work to do. That's kind of like, I feel like a lot of our takeaways from it is we have work to do, and in the future we want to be in the frozen face off, and then eventually in the national tournament, and then eventually winning a national tournament. And that starts with our group right now. like, and we're setting the foundation for the culture, for the program, and I think that's kind of scary, honestly, but really, really special that we get to be a part of the group that builds that base for the future.
What are your team's goals and expectations for next season then?
I think just getting better and better, and honestly, like treating each game one by one, not looking too far ahead, and like getting to that like top half of the WCHA eventually. And maybe that will be next year. That would be awesome. Like, I think that we could. I believe in us. But if not, then the year after that. And I think just continually having the mindset of we need to get better, we're going to get better, and the expectations just getting higher and higher each year is just going to push us in the right direction.
Now you're going to be a senior next season, so what type of leadership do you want to bring to the team since you're going to be one of the more older players on the team? Do you think you're going to be more of a vocal leader or lead by example type of player?
Um, I think maybe a little bit of both. I like to talk a lot, and my team knows that. So definitely vocal, and I'm not necessarily afraid to use my voice. So I think saying the right things when they need to be said, or at least attempting to do that. I'll make mistakes. I know that I will. And then doing my best to lead by example.
Now, one thing I noticed from your team that you guys announced earlier this year was you guys are building a new on-campus rink, which it's going to be very exciting and obviously a huge step for the program. I know by the time it's complete, your career at St. Thomas will be completed, but how excited are you for that announcement? And what's it going to be like going to that rink as a fan and an alum when it finally is complete?
Yeah, I'm excited to go to the alumni lounge. But it's such a huge milestone for St. Thomas and younger girls. And I think it's just going to be a huge step for our program in general and growing our program as a whole. And little girls are going to want to come to the new rink and everything. And I just think it's going to be such a huge milestone. And I think the freshmen this year will be the seniors when it's done.
Oh,
Something
wow.
like that. I think that's right. But I'm so excited that they get to experience that too. And that's just going to be so cool for them. And I am excited to be at the first game. I will be there.
At the alumni lounge, right?
In the alumni lounge.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the rest of your teammates, I presume as well, will be there.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. We're all excited. We're like, darn it that we can't be there, but we will be there in the stands. Or darn
Yeah.
it that we can't play, but we'll be there.
Yeah, yeah,
We're,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah.
So we're now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I ask you some non-hockey questions just to get to know you a little bit more off the ice. First one is, what music do you like to listen to?
Country. I'm a country person. Morgan Wallen.
Nice. I heard that he had to cancel some of his tour because he had like some vocal issues.
Yeah, I saw that too. That's so sad for those people that bought those tickets. I think I would actually cry, but good for him that he's like taking time off too. But
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
want to ruin his voice for the rest of his life because that's
yeah,
even
no,
worse.
yeah, literally, I'm like, yeah, take all the time you need because I need your music. So,
Yeah. What is your guilty pleasure TV show?
I'm not a huge TV show person or movie person, but probably Grey's Anatomy. I do
Hmm.
keep up with that every so often. So, yeah.
What would the perfect day look like for you?
Oh, the perfect day, I think, would be like all my favorite people in one place. So, like my parents, my brother, my best friends, my grandparents, my dogs.
Yeah,
And I think I would go skating with my dad and then go on the lake with all of us, go surfing, and then go eat at a Mexican restaurant.
nice. I
Yeah,
think my
that's
perfect
my
day
perfect
would
day.
Yeah, I think my perfect day would probably be like going to a hockey game and then like having dinner with my friends afterwards and just
Yeah.
like not having to pay for it, obviously, but something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. I think being on the lake, I love being on the lake and I love hockey and I'm a big family and friends person and I love Mexican food. So combining all that in some way in one day I would be happy.
Yeah, I like hockey and sports, so and then just good food afterwards. That's sort of that would be my perfect day. So something like sort of similar to yours, I guess.
Yeah.
What is your most embarrassing hockey moment?
Oh, honestly, I don't probably just like checking myself into the boards. Like I
Yeah,
can be clumsy and I just will like trip over my feet and go face first. And that's not very fun to watch on film, but it's
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
But
No,
I don't think I really have like a distinct moment where I'm like, yeah, I never want to experience that again. Or at least not that I can think of now, but
well, when I was looking through like photos of yourself doing research for this podcast, there are some photos of you like in high school getting checked, but I honestly respect it because it shows how tough you are. So I was like, I know some people might consider that like an embarrassing moment, but I was like, you know what? I have so much more respect for you, Bria, because you makes you look sort of like a badass taking that check.
that's so funny. No, yeah, I sometimes can get thrown around. I'm short, so
Hmm.
I do get a shoulder here and there, but
You can take it, which I think
I
is more
try to give it
respectable.
sometimes too. So
Yeah.
sometimes they don't budge, but I attempt.
Hopefully there'll be one photo of you attempt delivering a hit instead of being on the other end of it.
Yeah. And then there's like the times where I just like trip over my own feet.
Yeah.
Not great, but it's funny to look back on.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. Well, who's the funniest player on the team?
Probably Lauren Stensley. She's like my best friend. Like when I came here, I knew of her, like,
Hmm.
but we weren't really friends and we just like clicked like that and we're inseparable. I live with her now and I'll live with her next year. And yeah, we kind of just bounce off of each other, but
Hmm.
she's probably the funniest.
Now you have the best style on the team, but besides yourself, who would you say has the best pregame style?
Off the ice style,
Yeah.
definitely Gabby Billing.
Hmm.
She's got some good style. I'm like she was my locker buddy this year and she would show up sometimes and I'm like, "Dang girl, like okay, pop off." No, she's awesome. I love her, but she has very good style. Like, okay, I'll be borrowing that later.
What is the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
Um, Dallas advancing.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy about that one.
Really? I kind of like the Stars. I like Jason Robertson and Andre. They seem like a fun team to watch. I know they beat Minnesota, but I'm just saying, like from a neutral fan perspective.
I guess, yeah. I don't like Suter at all. No,
Was he like a trader from Minnesota?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
They
Okay.
still pay for him. Minnesota still
Oh,
pays for him.
okay. Okay. But like Parise is the same thing, but everyone seems to love him up in Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't even really pay attention to him anymore, honestly.
Probably because
But
it's the Eastern
I think,
Conference.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I just like, I don't know. I don't like Dallas. Not
Hmm.
a fan.
Yeah.
Probably because they took us out, but
Yeah. I would say it's going to be a fun Western Conference final. I'm looking forward to that. I'm just excited to see good games. And Eastern Conference final, I'm a little torn because I'm a huge Bruins fan, and obviously the Panthers beat the Bruins this year, and then the Hurricanes beat the Bruins last year. So I'm hoping any team from the West wins the Stanley Cup final. That's sort of my where my rooting interest lies.
I have the Panthers winning the cup. So,
All right, if you're going to beat the Bruins, you might as well go all the way. That's sort of
right?
I
That's
respect
what I'm
that.
saying. Yeah.
And then last non-hockey question is if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Probably my grandpa. He passed away last fall and kind of like dark, but
Hmm.
definitely would just be him. I miss him. So if I could just like have lunch with him, update him on life.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to some hockey questions now. First one is for all the younger people listening to this episode, what advice would you give them on what it takes to be in college hockey where you are today?
I think just never give up and follow your dreams and everything will work out the way it's supposed to in the end. Honestly, I think that's probably my biggest advice is work hard, put your head down, work hard, and it'll all work out in the end. Even if it doesn't seem like it, it will. And everything happens for a reason. So never give up, work hard. Yeah. Have fun.
Hmm.
Have fun. Don't forget to have fun because some people I think just get caught up in all the politics and oh, I played this much and this much, but you also have to remember that you're playing the game that the little girl fell in love with and you just got to have fun sometimes. all the
Well,
time. Not
yeah,
sometimes, all the time.
yeah. No, I got what you're saying. So, but do you have any shout outs you want to give to any of your teammates, former teammates, family members, friends, and who should we have on the podcast next?
Um, I think I would just shout out my mom and dad because I would not be where I am today without them. And thanks to them for always believing in me, because even when I didn't believe in myself, they believed in me. And then probably Lauren Stensley. I think
Hmm.
she would be a good one to have on. She's
Nice.
awesome. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Bria, for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your time. It means so much to myself. I wish you and your team nothing but the best for next season, and I wish you nothing but the best with your economics minor and data, right? Data major, if I
Data
remember.
analytics, yeah.
Yes, yes. So best of luck with that as well. I know you're going to do great with that. So thanks for your time, though. It means so much for you to come on today.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me.